Hi, it's me again, the Swede in the forest. I sometimes LARP as a musician and post stuff about it online. You know what, scratch that, it's freaking compulsory, let's start over. Hi, it's me again, the Swede in the forest. I make music and talk about it here on YouTube. But today I want to talk about other stuff. For example, do you like Star Wars? Yeah, me neither, but I like the idea of something like the Force. I like the trajectory of someone like Luke Skywalker and even Darth Vader, to be honest. I like the idea of a Jedi. I like a mentor-like character like Yoda. And I like the idea of overcoming what it is you have to face in order to grow into the person you were put on this earth to become and embody, essentially. The hero's journey. Now, what does any of that have to do with music, you might ask? Well, have you ever heard of Joseph Campbell? The Hero with 1,000 Faces? This book and Campbell's work in general was a massive influence on George Lucas and the whole Star Wars saga, to the point where Lucas pretty much considered Campbell his own Yoda. A copy of the book was also famously given to Arthur C. Clarke by Stanley Kubrick, while the former was working on the script for A Space Odyssey. Joseph Campbell's influence really can't be overstated at this point, and if any of this sounds interesting to you, I really recommend you pause this video. Yeah, pause the video. And look him up more in depth yourself, because today we're going to talk about another of Campbell's ideas, something he called Detribalization. And I'm going to quote Dr. Christopher Ryan here because, first of all, he's written a lot about this, and second of all, I really like his brief yet powerful explanation of what it means to detribalize. The great mythologist Joseph Campbell used to explain that an essential first step toward wisdom involved detribalization. Whether we know it or not, we're all members of certain tribes, which are determined by sets of shared assumptions. These tribes can involve your ethnicity, your profession, where you went to school, how much money you've got, whether or not you got kids, preference for dogs versus cats. To begin the process of really seeing what's going on around us, Campbell argued, we need to recognize and question these assumptions built into our perspective. We all approach the world with a set of beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions, some of which are completely arbitrary and entirely based on where in the world we happen to be born. For example, food preferences, and what foods we consider weird or normal, right? There's no rational basis for this. Instead, the icky factor comes from what we learn to internalize as normal or strange. As human beings, there's really no way around this. We're creatures of culture and narrative, among other things. There's no neutral reference point, if you will. But knowing this, knowing that so much of what we do is ultimately trivial, not in the sense that it has no meaning, but in the sense that the meaning it does have still comes out of something seemingly arbitrary and random, as in what part of the world you happen to be born in. Did you grow up in a city or somewhere more rural? Who your friends were when you were a child? What foods your family cooked? Whether or not you had pets or where you went to school? These things make you part of a tribe. They greatly influence how you feel about, say, fermented foods or driving on the left or right side of the road or what you wear in class and how you greet your elders. The rules you follow without realizing it. They come from your tribe. And knowing this is to reduce its power, its importance, its limitations. It doesn't mean you won't still be affected by these things, but it means that you can see them, or it, more clearly for what it is, and hopefully let go of the things that don't serve you. The point here is that so many of us belong to musical tribes as well, and I've always found that to be terribly limiting and, quite honestly, very uninspired, predictable, boring, and dare I say, sheep-like. Look, I love metal. It's where I find myself most at home musically, but I gotta say, the metal community has some serious problems with gatekeeping taste and style and just a general close-mindedness that is out of this world sometimes. It drives me nuts. There's something so oxymoronic about a close-minded musician. Like, why would you ever deny yourself a potential source of inspiration, creativity, and just cool stuff to learn? I admire artists who don't think this way, who seem almost blind to it all. They just create. Or when established artists say, f it and do something different. Not for the sake of doing something different, but just because they felt creatively inspired, you know? I love that. For example, look at Metallica. I know people make fun of Lulu, but that album has one of my favorite songs of the last 20 years on it. and it sounds nothing like regular Metallica sticking to the rules of their tribe could ever create. I'm talking about Junior Dad, of course. Now, there's nothing wrong with sticking to the conventions of a genre. Of course not. I mean, obviously not, but don't let convention, culture, and expectation keep you from making the music you want to make. Don't let the fear of being judged by ultimately an ignorant or closed-minded crowd keep you from breaking convention or from creating from the heart. I believe that in order to be free, we also have to create freely. No filter, just pure expression. Of course, you can mix blast beats with opera or lush synth pads. Of course, why not? You can do whatever you want. You're free. So much of life is just happenstance. It's random misfortunes or just dumb luck, but that doesn't mean we have to be asleep to the fact that we can still live with intention. We can still create with intention, with a commitment to the truth, to pure, authentic expression. Anyway, that's my spiel. Be free, my friends, and enjoy the day. It's all we got. Bye-bye.